folks, what is going on? This is Michael in the wee hours of the night on the very graveyard shift, the one and only, with your brand new trivia question. Yet, once again, welcome to the weekend. It's finally here. We made it through the week, and this week was like creepy, crawly. I don't know what was taking so long to get here, but my gosh. We have finally arrived through the hot and sticky weather, and it looks like it's going to be maybe raining this weekend. I don't know, but it's the weekend, so let's just not let it bother us. Anywho, the answer to the previous trivia question was none other than Mr. Tweety Bird. Now, who would have thunk that Tweety Bird could make it into a trivia question? But that's the cool thing about it. So Tweety Bird is a yellow canary who got its start in the animated cartoon world of what was known in its origins at the time as Merry Melodies. Now, of course, you and I both are too young to remember Merry Melodies. Okay, this is back to the 1930s origins, right? But what you're more familiar with is what would become known as, which is Warner Brothers Looney Tunes. And Tweety Bird was one of those first characters. He appeared in 46 cartoons total during the so-called golden age of cartoons, and this was from 1942 to 1962, that 20-year period. Now, like most of Warner Brothers cartoon characters, Tweety had a speech impairment, and most of these characters did. That's what kind of puts their signature on things. Okay, now Tweety Bird's speech impairment was where his SKs and his Gs all came out as sounding like T's and D's. That's a little confusing, but just think of his tagline, his famous tagline, which was I taught a putty cat. That was his famous thing every time he would see Sylvester. Right. Now, speaking of which, the Gruesome Twosome from 1945, which is part of the trivia question, was Tweety's last cartoon, kind of going solo of sorts, before he would be permanently paired with the cat named, like I just mentioned, Sylvester. And this duo, which was not uncommon for cartoon characters to team up like this, would go on to make many cartoons and many movies together. Most notably, Tweety Bird was paired up with Sylvester. Sylvester always wanted to catch and eat Tweety, but there was always some major obstacle, of course, that stood in his way over the course of their cartoon career together. And that's what was the whole spiel and foundation of their cartoons and movies they made together. The whole chase, if you will. Tweety has stayed busy with appearances in the late 80s with movies such as Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which is way ahead of its time in 1988, I believe, if my research serves me correctly. Well into the 1990s with Tiny Toon Adventures and Space Jam, of course, with Michael Jordan. And then well into the 2000s as well with the explosion of the Cartoon Network and like the Baby Toons that came out as well during that time. So on as early as March of this year, it was announced. This was pretty cool. It was announced that Tweety will star in a direct-to-video film called King Tweety, which will be released on June 14th, which is next Tuesday. So Tweety Bird is still very much around, staying busy and working just as hard as he can. Just now, a couple of cool geek factoids, despite the perceptions that people may hold. Owing to the long eyelashes and high-pitched voice, Tweety is a male bird, although his ambiguity has been kind of played with and used as a prop of sorts to kind of tag people along, if you will. Tweety's bird original name was Orson from his first cartoon called A Tale of Two Kitties, which I thought was just great. That was like an Abbott and Costello kind of a play on the famous story, A Tale of Two Cities, from way back in the 30s and 40s, the golden era, if you will, again. And lastly but not least, Tweety had a girlfriend named Auga, which was the name coming from her ability to loudly imitate an old-fashioned car horn. Tweety's girlfriend, Auga. I had a girlfriend named Auga back in high school. She was hot. She could do that sound, too. Auga. All right, folks, enough of that. Enough of that clowning around. Let's get to a brand new trivia question to kick off the weekend for June 11th. This is a cool trivia question. Listen very carefully. On this day in 1935, in Akron, Ohio, notice the location, two men named Bill Wilson and Dr. Robert Smith begin this rehabilitation program, which has no formal rules and is based on spiritual principles, guided group discussion, and participant confession. Good luck, folks. Enjoy your weekend. Appreciate everything that you do. It's a privilege to be on your team. Peace out.